Hey, welcome back to EHS Concepts, the Ways of Safety. Of course, I'm Ryan, your host. We're going to talk about safety documents. Safety documents are backwards and why most systems fail and how to fix them. I'm an author, written an integrated safety excellence and lean approach, and soon to be released EHS Concepts, the Ways of Safety. So, again, welcome back to EHS Concepts. This is where we try to turn safety systems into leadership instruments. And today we're tackling a problem I see nearly every week. Safety documentation. It's built backwards. And why do most systems fail? Let's start with paperwork instead of purpose. Let's fix that. So here's the problem. Documentation without design. So last week, I walked onto a construction site. A foreman had handed me a whole bunch of paperwork saying, this is our safety plan, this is our EAP, this is et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what I found was absolute chaos. So there was outdated risk assessments that they had from like 2019 through 2023. They were missing method statements for high-risk tasks. They didn't have toolbox talks that had signatures on them. And the checklists were just scattered across multiple different systems. Here, there, everywhere. But you know what? This isn't rare. No, it's the norm. And that's why 70% of safety audits fail at the document stage. Sucks. Most organizations build their safety systems from the bottom up. They start with forms, checklists, and records because they think that's what auditors are asking for. But forms without that structure, they don't build the culture. They don't drive behavior, and they definitely don't prevent incidences. So let's talk about the hierarchy of safety documents. At EHS Concepts, we teach that documentation isn't paperwork, it's architecture. It's the blueprint for the operational discipline. And so here's my methodology and what I believe is the correct hierarchy. Sometimes I can't talk. But anyway, you know this. You've watched my videos. So the policy. Your safety vision and leadership commitment needs to be there in your policy. Your procedures, the how for the consistent execution, and then your method statements, step-by-step guidance for high-risk tasks. Then risk assessments. This is where you're going to anticipate those hazards before they happen. Then you're going to add in your toolbox talks. You're going to have those daily conversations that keep safety alive. Then your records and your checklist. This is where your evidence comes in that your system even works. So when you start at that top with the policies, everything connects. And when you start at the bottom, you just create confusion. That's why most systems fail. Most EHS professionals reverse the pyramid. They start with forms because that's what audits demand. But forms without content or context, they're meaningless. They don't have that reference back and forth. So the result, you have compliance gaps during audits. You're definitely going to have confusion in the field. What the hell? Yeah. You have reactive safety instead of proactive leadership. Write-ups. So with me and my integrated safety excellence approach at EHS Concepts, I've embedded documentation in the operational system, not as an afterthought, but as a strategic enabler. When your policy aligns with your organizational values and leadership behavior, you're winning. When procedures integrate with lean workflows and operational excellence, you're winning. When you have your method statements linked to risk assessments and training modules, you're winning. And when your toolbox talk become micro learning moments, not check in the box exercises, everyone read it, you're winning. When records feed into leading indicators for continuous improvement, guess what? You're winning. And this isn't a theory. It's a proven system. I've literally been on job sites that reduce incident rates by 60% in both manufacturing and construction projects using this approach. So my key takeaway for this is you document with purpose, not just for compliance. You build your safety system like a pyramid, the strong foundation, clear structure with connected layers. And when you do that, you don't just pass audits. You transform your safety culture. So here's my question to you all. What is missing from your safety document hierarchy? You know what? Drop your biggest document challenge in the comments or reach out for a 15-minute consult. My Minect is listed here on my channel. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see what your biggest challenge is. I might even be able to help. So thanks for listening. Again, I'm Ryan Rinehart with EHS Concepts, the Ways of Safety, where safety becomes leadership. Thank you all. Thanks for watching.